I wanted to start today talking about Becoming a Translator by Douglas Robinson. And this is a book I feel much more comfortable criticising or commenting on than Mona Baker, which is another book I discussed a while back. Because Mona Baker is written for translation studies, the academic subject. Becoming a Translator is written for becoming a translator, the profession, the job. And there's crossover, there's kind of two intersecting circles, but not as much as you would expect. The best academics do not necessarily make the best translators, and the kind of knowledge and research is really quite different. Anyways, Douglas Robinson has this notion of reliability from a user's perspective, which I think is a really useful tool, really useful way of thinking, and it's something we should all think about, especially if you're going to a new client for the first time. And actually what I find with this notion of reliability, before you know it, you're a salesman. So he kind of asks you to imagine you are on the board of a big company and you've got a stock report written in French and you need it in English. What are they going to be saying? Okay guys, we need this in English. When do we need it? What are the things it has to do? Does it have to be accurate? Do the numbers all have to be right? Can we save money by just doing the abstract? Do we need to save money? How important is the timing? How are we going to publish the translation, or is it just going to be for information purposes only? Things like that. And kind of when you get a job, thinking, okay, what does the client want? What they paid me to do this for a reason. What's that reason? What are they doing with it? And quite often clients think they want to do one thing when actually they want to do something else. Then you've got things like certification, right? That's another one. Client needs a certified translation because they're applying for a mortgage. Well, okay, what certification will your bank want? Don't know. Okay. So you talk to the bank and they say, well, we follow Home Office. Normally, by the way, they will follow Home Office guidelines, which are it needs to be done by an ITI member or an IOL member, or a company which is a member of either, or a company which is a member of the ATA, and it needs to have their stamp. And it sometimes needs to have specific wording like true and accurate to the best of my belief and all stuff like that. But yeah, thinking, kind of putting yourself in the position of the buyer. Why am I spending money on this? What am I expecting? What does it need to do? What is that? And he calls it reliability. I need it to do a certain thing. It needs to reliably deliver on that thing. And our job is to do that, right? To understand that and do that. And it won't come just from their email to you. It won't come. The agency will get in the way and stop you doing it. Normally they won't be helpful, unfortunately. So yeah, think about that. Think about what does the company actually want with you? Why are they paying you? And it can help you when you come to those kind of difficult decisions, difficult choices in the document, knowing a little bit more about the company and thinking from their view, not your view. Thinking from their view can help you make the best choices. When I've reviewed stuff and found stuff I'm not happy with, one of the things you note is that the newer and worse translators tend to talk about their problems to me, the reviewer. They'll be like, oh, well, Tridos did this, or my Excel does that, or, that word looks a bit like this word or something. And I mean, that's the you problem. You need to be answering by, what is the client paying you to do? What do they want? Accurate? And so let's have another look. There's a nice expansion on this idea of reliability. So he gives some examples. Let's read a couple. One called a summary, where the translation covers the main points or the gist of the original. One called a summary commentary, really common, where the translation summarizes some passages briefly while commenting closely on others. The passages in the original that most concern the user are unpacked. The less important passages are summarized. Then there's things like fluency. There's an interesting one, encryption. The translation recasts the original so as to hide its meaning or message from one group while still making it accessible to another group which possesses the key. Very interesting. There's also something called a pseudo translation, by the way, which is it was quite common in the Middle Ages, where all the best books on maths were translated from Arabic into whatever, Latin or Old English. So Latin or Old English scholars would make up Arabic sounding names and write their books to sound like they'd been translated from Arabic, called a pseudo translation. Very interesting. I have heard that it has happened in China actually with manga, Japanese manga, super popular, where they deliberately try and make it seem like a Japanese manga when it's actually a Chinese manga. Interesting stuff. Alright, so yeah, thanks.